The news of the day should not be friendly to high gold and silver prices, but they are bucking the conventional wisdom here. I'm going to explain exactly what happened as gold has reached another record high and silver has pushed up above $34 an ounce. Let's explore! Another exciting day in the precious metal markets. It is crazy what's happening, and it's getting even more difficult to really get what's behind some of this rapid movement in prices here. Gold is up over 1.5% today to $2,981.50. That's almost a $50 increase. It's at $46.60. It did reach a high of $2,987.80. That's just under $12 from $3,000 gold, a very strong psychological number, many of whom have predicted that we're going to get there, and I think that is likely to the case for sure. It blew past my prediction of $2,900, so $3,000, here we come. Silver reached $34 earlier in the day. It got up to $34.07 as a high. It's up now 1.64%, a 55-cent increase right now to $33.84. What an amazing time to see silver climb as it has. And both platinum and palladium are up as well, about 1% each, with platinum topping $1,000 an ounce. The gold to silver ratio is still high, but it is under 90 now. It is at 88.4. In times like these, it's tough to justify making a purchase of gold and silver, but I did. I made a purchase. I'm going to show you what I got on the recent gold dip. It wasn't much of a dip, but I made the decision to make the buy anyway. Sort of going against some of my earlier advice because the sentiment has changed in the market. I do think that we probably likely will continue to see higher gold prices probably from here on out. Any dips that may come along, it's a good time to take advantage of deals that could be out there. And likely they're going to be for gold now. So check out summitmetals.com for all of your gold and silver needs. Summitmetals.com, elevate your wealth. And I got a purchase from Summit Metals. Stay tuned. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you what that is and the reason why I bought it. The dollar is up today. That is not a good sign for gold and silver usually. That's number one reason why gold and silver bucked the trend for sure and went up anyway. Crazy. There's a couple of other reasons too. Reason number two, easing inflation fears continue to have a little impact on gold and silver as investors still view gold and silver as an important safe havens against growing economic uncertainty. According to some analysts, even muted inflation pressures as producers see easing prices are not enough to shift the negative sentiment in the marketplace. There you go. Let that digest for a little bit. There's still a negative sentiment here, and a lot of it is on uncertainty with the tariffs. The tariffs headline really is, I think, a very real indicator on how some of these things are moving. Some of the gold and silver prices are moving, and the market is seeing mixed reaction as well too. And the Dow Jones is down again, 537 points. The Nasdaq is down over 300 points, but the dollar index is up. The S&P is also down. The headline producer price index, though, remained unchanged in February, following January's 0.4% increase. The U.S. Labor Department announced today the latest inflation data was cooler than expected, as economists had anticipated a 0.3% increase. Over the past 12 months, headline wholesale inflation rose 3.2%, slightly below consensus estimates of 3.3%. Core PPI, which excludes volatile food and energy costs, declined 0.1% last month, missing economists' forecast for a 0.3% increase. Annual core PPI stood at 3.4%, also below the consensus expectation of 3.5%. The gold market, though, is seeing little reaction to the muted inflation pressures, continuing to trade. In fact, it has broken past the all-time high of $2,950 an ounce. PPI is considered a leading inflation indicator as producers pass higher input costs to consumers. The latest PPI data follows the U.S. Consumer Price Index report, which also showed subdued inflation pressures last month. So in recent months, U.S. inflation data has been a complicating factor for gold and silver by extension. While high inflation has pushed the Federal Reserve towards a neutral monetary policy stance, it has also raised concerns about its slower economic activity and potential stagflation. That's a word that makes everybody very, very nervous. An environment analysts say is particularly favorable for gold. So that's another thing that we're seeing here play out, stagflation. And what is stagflation? Low employment or higher unemployment, and inflation continue to remain sticky. These numbers are a little bit better for inflation, but likely we're going to see probably some rising cost with some of the tariffs that are coming into play, at least temporarily. This is a time in the market where policy from this administration is moving the needle and having an impact on the markets to the likes we've not seen in a while. And there's really a lot of concern. That concern very well may be subdued once they are actually in effect and the actual impact is felt. And it may not be as bad as some say. And also considering that there's more folks coming back, more companies doing business in the United States as a result. And those companies are going to have a big advantage because they are not affected by tariffs. So that is something we have to also consider. In other words, the American worker, American companies are going to greatly benefit from this. What is the overall goal here? It is to stimulate the economy here in the United States and provide fairness in trade. And I think that is something that we have to be patient to see how that's going to work out. I would say probably really give about 6 to 8 months before people really kind of see the benefits of all that's going on now, even though it may seem a bit chaotic now. I see what's happening. At least I can see the logistics behind it, especially with regards to tax policy. And by the way, if what I'm hearing is correct and we can actually get there, it will be very good for those of us in the middle income bracket and lower income bracket too. And for his wages or wage earners. So at the same time, economists caution that PPI data may not fully reflect the impact of the U.S. government's ongoing trade war on prices. Some producers have already warned consumers of impending price increases to offset higher costs stemming from U.S. tariffs on imported goods, as well as retaliatory tariffs from China, Europe, Canada, and Mexico. And more announcements have been made today on spirits as well. And of course, we've heard about the recent stuff with Canada. And so there it is. It is a little bit of a trade battle, at least. I don't know if it's a full-fledged war yet, but we'll see how this plays out. Although the headline and core data came in weaker than expected, Thomas Ryan, North American economist at Capital Economics, noted that same key opponents for the inflation data were hotter than expected. Overall, the February CPI and PPI data point to another above-target 0.35% month-over-month increase. So anyways, this is also looking at that and the information with employment and where inflation is sitting right now. Nothing has changed for the Federal Reserve on their March 19th meeting. Their March 19th meeting, 97% still feel that they're going to leave rates unchanged. In fact, I kind of doubt we're going to see any rates lower for quite some time here. In fact, if we go back, it's between 4.25 and 4.5 basis points right now, and but in the July meeting, or June meeting rather, up to the June meeting is where they may see it fall a quarter point. We'll see how that plays out. The May meeting, still well over half feel that they're not going to lower rates then. So we'll see how it plays out. Nonetheless, gold and silver still remain a stable store of value and wealth no matter what happens. Although tariff fears can impact us all in many different ways. As I've mentioned before, I don't like taxes of any form. Really, when it's all said and done, I prefer there not be any. But we have to pay something to the federal government, and I think it'd be much rather to have it through either a national sales tax or a tariff, or a combination thereof. And right now, American companies are being hurt by tariffs that have been put on them from other countries for years, since World War II. But there's a reshifting and a rebalancing is what Trump has been very consistent on since that time. But that nervousness about stuff coming into the United States, especially goods that you can only get from that country, such as Canadian coins, right? Or Mexican coins, especially of the precious metals variety. So I went ahead and made a purchase during the last little dip, which wasn't much of one, from Summit Metals. I got a gold maple leaf. Probably should have gotten a silver one as well for 2025. And this is the second one this year. And thought, well, you know what? I better get it before these tariffs come into effect for new gold maple leafs coming into the United States. Now, the maple leafs that are already in the United States will not be tariffed. So, I don't know how long it's going to take, but apparently April 2nd is the big deadline here. So I went ahead and made this purchase. We're going to open it up here. It comes in this cool flip here from Summit Metals. Let's see here. They're very nice to tape it shut. This is another order that I had placed from Summit Metals without them knowing it. I did that on purpose to see how I would be treated as an anonymous customer. And they're very kind. In fact, I got a follow-up call on this, really about another order. And from a lady at Summit Metals who didn't know me from Adam or Eve or anybody else by any other name. And she asked about that she didn't have a record of shipping out another coin that I bought from them. And I said, oh, yes, I got that in a bundle with a previous order. So she was concerned for me before I ever even showed any concern about it. That's proactive customer service, folks. That's the second time that I've received proactive customer service as anonymously, without them knowing that I have a YouTube channel and that I'm actually that they're sponsored by Summit Metals. So with that being said, let's put it in this capsule and let's hear the sound. People love that sound. I actually get no request to hear the sound of a coin capsule being put on a coin, but I'm going to do it anyway, just for gits and shiggles here. Let's put it on here. Be very, very careful. I do not want to smudge up the coin. There we go. All right, there it is. Another ounce to the stack. Yes, indeed. In fact, with the spot price today, I got this coin for about 15 bucks over spot. Not a bad deal. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.